rappers, they're getting killed, they're getting shot and whatever. You ever afraid that any of that could ever happen to you?
It got me.
In Lil Durk's case, the real danger didn't come from external enemies, but from within his own circle. When Durk said, "This could happen to anyone," he had no idea that someone from his own team would become his biggest threat. At the end of 2024, it was revealed that an old member of OTF, Jam, real name Casey Hester, had been working with federal agencies. WAC 100 dropped this bombshell in a viral interview, claiming that Jam had served 12 years in prison, and, after being released, Durk had generously provided him with a house, a car, and $50,000. But instead of gratitude, Jam allegedly repaid this kindness by cooperating with authorities. DJ Academics also unearthed an old clip where Jam talks about how Durk supported him. But when rumors surfaced accusing Jam of snitching, the internet quickly turned him into a meme. One joke suggested he snitched for a Big Mac, while another claimed he sold out for a Kai Cenat meal. Jam responded on Instagram, stating that the truth would come out in court through the discovery process. However, when he used the word "us," people began questioning why he would include himself in the target group if he wasn't actually cooperating. So far, Jam's name hasn't appeared in any official court documents as an informant, but the damage from the snitching allegations is already affecting Durk's case. The legal confusion surrounding this situation has only fueled rumors. In today's social media age, where platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok can spread unverified claims in an instant, the line between truth and fiction has become blurred. In rap culture, particularly in Chicago's drill scene, being labeled a snitch can not only ruin someone's career but also put their life at risk. In Durk's case, the conversation is now more focused on these rumors than on the actual legal matter, significantly impacting both his public image and his legal battle. In the case of Lil Durk, the true threat didn't emerge from some distant rival or outside force. It came from within his own ranks. When Durk made the statement, "This could happen to anyone," little did he know that one of his own would become his greatest adversary. By the end of 2024, it was revealed that Casey Hester, also known as Jam, a former member of Durk's OTF crew, had allegedly been working with federal authorities. WAC 100 broke the news in a widely viewed interview, claiming that after Jam served 12 years in prison, Durk had helped him get back on his feet, providing him with a house, a car, and $50,000. However, instead of loyalty, Jam allegedly repaid this support by cooperating with the feds. This story gained further traction when DJ Academics shared an old clip where Jam spoke about Durk's support. As the snitching rumors spiraled out of control, the internet had a field day, creating memes and jokes that mocked Jam, one claiming he turned on Durk for a Big Mac and fries, and another for a Kai Cenat meal. Jam responded to the allegations, saying that the truth would be revealed through court documents. However, his use of the word "us" raised questions, as many wondered why he would include himself in the group of targets if he was truly innocent. As of now, there's no official record of Jam being named as an informant in any legal documents, but the damage done by these allegations is palpable, especially in a culture where snitching is a career killer. In the world of rap, particularly in Chicago's drill scene, accusations of snitching are more than just damaging. They can endanger lives. And with Durk's case being intertwined with these rumors, the focus has shifted away from the actual legal battle to the ongoing speculation. This has left a shadow over his reputation and legal prospects, complicating an already delicate situation. To understand the full extent of Durk's predicament, we need to look at the federal charges that triggered this storm. On October 25, 2024, Durk's world was turned upside down when he was arrested near Miami International Airport by the feds. What many thought was an exaggeration turned out to be very real. Durk was facing serious RICO charges, potentially setting him up for decades in prison. At the time of his arrest, he was allegedly preparing to board a private jet to Italy, with additional bookings in Switzerland and Dubai. This raised suspicions that he might have had prior knowledge of the impending indictment, something that prosecutors would later use to argue against granting him bail. According to the documents released by the Justice Department, Durk was hit with multiple charges, including conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, leading to death. The feds allege that Durk orchestrated an attempt on the life of rapper Quando Rondo, though the hit ultimately missed him and claimed the life of his cousin, Lil Pab Robinson, instead. This alleged hit, which occurred in August 2022, was reportedly linked to the death of King Von, Durk's close friend, 2 years earlier. The indictment also named 5 other individuals connected to Durk, all facing serious charges such as conspiracy, murder for hire, and use of a machine gun in the commission of a violent crime. The severity of these charges, especially with potential death penalties attached, emphasize the gravity of the situation. The Fed's case is built on substantial evidence. Over 230 gigabytes of digital material, including surveillance footage, audio and video recordings, and witness testimonies, have been gathered. Financial records have also played a key role in connecting the dots. Credit card transactions, flight bookings, and hotel reservations tied to Durk and his associates created a paper trail that linked them to the shooting. Despite the substantial bail offer from Durk's legal team, $1 million in cash from Sony Music, and $2.3 million in property equity, the judge denied bail, citing the seriousness of the charges and Durk's flight risk, especially given the fact that he was attempting to leave the country when he was arrested. In the months that followed, the case continued to develop. Prosecutors suggested that Durk might also be connected to the 2022 murder of Stephen Mack, a leader of the Gangster Disciples. This new angle added complexity to an already convoluted legal battle. Prosecutors allege that Durk put money on Mack's head in retaliation for the 2021 murder of his brother D. Thang. However, as of April 2025, Durk has not been formally charged in connection with Mack's death, though the investigation continues to unfold. In sum, the case against Durk represents far more than a typical legal battle. With a combination of federal charges, snitching rumors, and a tangled web of evidence, his freedom and possibly his career hangs in the balance. The allegations, regardless of their truth, have already done considerable damage, and as the case continues, it's clear that the stakes could not be higher. The emergence of a second alleged murder plot only added complexity to Lil Durk's defense, even though no formal charges have been filed yet. By suggesting a pattern of violent behavior rather than an isolated incident, prosecutors painted Durk as someone who frequently turned to murder-for-hire schemes to avenge personal losses. In early 2025, Durk faced another legal setback when Andrea Laquila Robinson, the mother of Lil Pab, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against him in Cook County Court. The suit, which also targets Durk's business manager and his record label, Only the Family, claims the shooting was a targeted attack. This civil case piles on additional legal pressure while the criminal case continues to unfold. Civil lawsuits often proceed in parallel with criminal cases, creating a unique challenge for defendants who must navigate both courts simultaneously. Though the burden of proof differs in civil and criminal courts, evidence from one case can influence the other, making it a high-stakes situation on multiple fronts. Due to the sheer complexity of the case and the volume of evidence involved, Durk's trial, originally scheduled for January 2025, has been pushed back to October 2025. Both the prosecution and defense agreed to this delay, acknowledging the case's intricacy and the need for more time to prepare. While delays are common in complex federal cases, the extension means that Durk and his co-defendants will remain in pretrial detention. For someone accustomed to the comforts of fame and fortune, the harsh conditions of a federal detention center are a significant downgrade. Beyond the physical discomfort, the psychological toll of awaiting a trial that could determine his future is immense. This pressure, combined with the possibility of life imprisonment, can sometimes push defendants to cooperate with authorities in exchange for lighter sentences. Another controversial aspect of Durk's case is the potential use of his lyrics as evidence. Legal experts, including Eric Nielsen, a professor at the University of Richmond and author of Rap on Trial, Race, Lyrics, and Guilt in America, have criticized this approach. Nielsen argued that prosecutors often misinterpret rap lyrics, treating them as literal confessions rather than artistic expression. This practice has been widely debated in the context of high-profile rap trials, like Young Thug's RICO case. Critics argue that using lyrics in this way criminalizes creative expression and unfairly targets Black artists, with federal courts generally being more permissive in allowing such evidence. This growing controversy underscores the cultural disconnect between the legal system and the artistic world of hip-hop. As Durk's legal drama unfolds, the hip-hop community remains divided. While some fans and artists rally behind him with the Free Lil Durk movement, others maintain a cautious distance. Supporters of Durk argue that the charges are part of a broader effort to target successful Black artists, while those staying neutral recognize the serious nature of the allegations. This silence reflects the high stakes of the situation. Offering support for someone facing murder-for-hire charges could harm one's reputation, while abandoning a longtime friend or collaborator could be seen as a betrayal. In the end, many are left in a delicate middle ground, expressing thoughts and prayers, but withholding judgment until more information emerges. To understand the gravity of the charges against Durk and the personal motivations behind them, it's crucial to explore his bond with King Von. The deep, almost familial connection between the two men is at the heart of the case, with prosecutors claiming it was this brotherhood that fueled the alleged murder-for-hire plot. Durk and Von's relationship wasn't just a friendship, it was rooted in shared history and struggles that transcended the rap game. Both men grew up on the south side of Chicago, specifically in the infamous Parkway Gardens, known on the streets as O-Block. The rough environment they shared, marked by poverty, violence, and loss, helped solidify their bond. Durk, who had already started making waves in the rap world, often referred to Von as his twin or little brother, a sentiment that underscored the closeness they shared. O-Block, a place synonymous with drill music and culture, has produced numerous influential figures in the genre. The tragic murder of O.D. Perry, a well-known figure in the neighborhood, gave the area even more cultural weight, inspiring countless drill tracks. Growing up in this environment created a unique understanding between Durk and Von, one that went beyond typical friendship or business partnerships. Their shared experiences, marked by loss and loyalty, shaped their deep connection, and, ultimately, the events that prosecutors claim led to a violent retaliation. This bond is central to the case, illustrating not just the emotional underpinnings of the alleged plot, but also the raw realities of growing up in a place where violence is often seen as the only way to settle scores. The bond between Durk and King Von went beyond the typical boundaries of friendship, forging a powerful relationship rooted in mutual respect and loyalty. Durk played a pivotal role in shaping Von's career, stepping in as a mentor when he signed him to his Only the Family, OTF label in December 2017. This move transformed Von from a street legend to one of the brightest rising stars in the drill scene. Their collaborations, including hits like Crazy Story 2.0, Like That, and All These, quickly captured millions of views on YouTube, solidifying Von's place in the rap world. In just 2 years, Von's career skyrocketed, with his tracks garnering millions of streams and his unique storytelling abilities earning him a dedicated following. His narrative style, particularly in songs like Crazy Story, stood out for its raw emotional depth and detailed depictions of street life, qualities that made him a standout in the drill scene. But their relationship was more than just about music. Their connection was personal, something that could be seen in the way they interacted publicly. Durk often spoke about Von's personality, praising his loyalty, humor, and generosity. These were qualities that made Von not only beloved by Durk, but also by many in the drill community. Von, for his part, repeatedly credited Durk for providing him with a way out of the streets. However, the true depth of their friendship was tragically revealed after Von's death. On November 6, 2020, Von was fatally shot outside an Atlanta hookah lounge during a confrontation involving members of Quando Rondo's crew. The altercation, which escalated into gunfire, left Von clinging to life before he succumbed to his injuries. The incident was captured on surveillance footage that quickly circulated online, showing Von in a physical confrontation before the fatal shots were fired by Timothy Lulim Leaks, an associate of Quando Rondo. For Durk, the news came in an agonizing way. While live on Instagram, fans began commenting that Von had been shot. Durk ended the stream immediately, visibly shaken. Later that day, he shared a heart-wrenching tribute on Instagram, captioning a picture of Von with, "My twin gone? I love you, baby bro droy." The grief was evident, and Durk channeled it into his music. In his 2024 song Old Days, Durk expressed the pain he felt from Von's death, referencing the trauma caused by leaked autopsy photos with the line, "The autopsy of Von Bod had me coughing up my vomit." These images, which spread across social media despite efforts to remove them, compounded the grief, forcing Von's loved ones to face the brutal reality of his death in an even more public and painful way. In the aftermath, a wave of pressure from fans swept across social media, urging Durk to seek revenge for Von. The hashtag #SlideForVon became a rallying cry, with countless followers pushing Durk to take action. This pressure highlighted a strange intersection of street codes and the influence of social media. While, in the past, such matters would remain behind closed doors, now, millions of online followers, many of whom had no direct ties to the street life, were openly demanding retribution. Durk, however, was visibly torn. In a 2022 track titled "Slide for Von," he addressed the growing pressure, stating, "They be on my page like Slide for Von. I know they trolling me and asking fans to stop the pressure." This comment reflected the emotional weight Durk carried, caught between street expectations and the global eyes watching his every move. In a 2023 interview with DJ Academics, Durk cryptically responded when asked about the Slide for Von comments, saying, "For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more." His ambiguous statement quickly went viral, leaving fans to speculate about whether retaliation had already occurred or whether he had simply blocked or filtered out such comments from his social media. This moment of ambiguity added to the mystery surrounding Durk's true feelings and actions in the wake of Von's death. Some interpreted his words as a sign that action had been taken, while others saw it as Durk distancing himself from the public pressure. Either way, it underscored the complicated relationship between grief, street culture, and the modern-day influence of social media on personal tragedy. Lil Durk's cryptic response to the ongoing pressure surrounding King Von's death only fueled further speculation. According to federal prosecutors, it was the deep grief and mounting expectations for retaliation that allegedly led Durk to put a price on Quando Rondo's head. This alleged act of vengeance is central to the charges against him, with authorities claiming that Durk orchestrated the August 19, 2022 shooting, which injured Lou Pop. The complex layers of this story trace back to Von's death, which occurred during a confrontation outside an Atlanta hookah lounge. Timothy "Lulu Tim" Leaks, a member of Quando Rondo's entourage, fatally shot Von. Initially charged with murder, Leaks saw those charges dismissed due to Georgia's controversial Stand Your Ground law. This legal outcome stirred anger among Von's supporters, with many questioning whether the level of force used was justified in the midst of a physical altercation. The Stand Your Ground law allows deadly force when one believes it's necessary to prevent death or injury, but many felt that a fistfight didn't warrant such extreme action. This perceived injustice likely ignited the desire for street justice, particularly in drill culture, where loyalty runs deep and retaliation for the death of a crew member is expected. In this world, respect and retribution are often more important than legal consequences, and the failure of the legal system to bring justice for Von likely fueled the growing calls for vengeance. Durk, known for his ties to the streets of Chicago, has long navigated a complicated relationship with both his music and his community. While his lyrics often reflect the harsh realities of life on the south side of Chicago, he has also advocated for peace and social change, pushing for initiatives that reduce violence. This duality creates a complicated backdrop for the current charges. Durk's evolution from drill music to more mainstream success has been accompanied by public efforts to improve his community, including donations to schools and support for youth programs. This seemingly contradictory stance, advocating for peace while allegedly orchestrating a murder plot, illustrates the difficult balance he's had to strike between his past and his public persona. While awaiting trial, Durk reportedly continues to use his platform to encourage his Chicago fans to embrace nonviolence. This shift toward advocacy for peace has led some critics to suspect it's a calculated attempt at damage control as the trial looms. However, others view it as genuine growth, a sign of maturity and a desire to move beyond the violence that has defined so much of his life. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. Durk seems capable of both sincere evolution and strategic self-preservation, reflecting the complexity of human behavior. As the October 2025 trial draws near, The emotional weight of Durk and Von's brotherhood will likely play a key role in understanding the motivations behind the alleged murder for hire. Plot. The prosecution will likely argue that Durk's grief over Von's death, combined with the expectations of street code, drove him to orchestrate a retaliatory hit on Quando Rondo. On the other hand, Durk's defense team may seek to emphasize the difference between his public persona as a drill artist and his real-life actions, questioning the reliability of witnesses and challenging how the prosecution interprets the events. They might also highlight his recent advocacy for peace and community development as evidence that his character has evolved. Whatever the outcome, this case is a stark reflection of how deeply personal relationships and the culture of drill music intertwine, sometimes with devastating consequences. The story of Lil Durk and King Von, from their rise as pioneers of Chicago drill to the heart-wrenching aftermath of Von's death, is not just about loss. It's a broader commentary on loyalty, street codes, and the blurred lines between art and real-life actions in hip-hop culture. As this trial unfolds, it's sure to spark more conversations about violence in rap, the criminalization of hip-hop, and the ways in which the personal and the public collide. For Durk, the stakes couldn't be higher. He's facing serious charges that could change his life forever, all stemming from his desire to avenge someone he considered his brother. Yet, as with any case, the presumption of innocence remains a fundamental principle of justice. As observers, we must approach this situation with both empathy and a critical understanding of the complexities involved.